Awesome. Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NTSE session for Math from Lakshya MT Educare. And this is Jakin Rambia. And welcome you all because today is a fantastic session that we're going to have ahead. We are going to cover one of the two most difficult topics, and generally the topics where all the students are scared about. But trust me, it's going to be very easy. And these topics are cubes and dice and clocks and calendars, right? Okay, yeah. So one of these topics is really scary just from the name and dice. वो थ्री डायमेंशनल होता है सर, उसको किस डायरेक्शन में घुमाना है, कैसे इमेजिन करना है, कैसे करना है, it looks very tricky and looks very scary, isn't it? But trust me guys, I'm going to give you the shortest methods ever that you can, through which you can solve any sum of cubes and dice that could be ever asked in your paper. You need not really imagine 3D में कैसा दिखता है, उसको घुमाएंगे तो कैसे लगेगा, इस तरह घुमाएंगे तो कैसे लगेगा, nothing of that sort. I'm going to make your life very, very simple by simply giving you the shortest methods to solve sums of cubes and dice, and also the shortest methods to solve sums of clocks and calendars. All right, so I hope you guys are all geared up. I'm assuming you guys are practicing a lot. Okay, so with this assumption, I'm definitely getting quite a few queries from your end. I'm working on it to solve those. So with this assumption and with this assurance that you guys are solving, let's move ahead quickly to the first chapter of cubes and dice. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. Please don't be afraid whenever you get a sum of that in the exam. Until this point, you might be scared to attempt कि बहुत time जाएगा sir, बहुत सोचना पड़ेगा. I need a lot of imagination to do it. How can I actually can I carry a dice in the exam? So can I do that? Can I? No, you cannot. All right. Uh, Trust me, I'm going to make this very simple for you all. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. So can you please activate screen sharing?
Done, sir.
Thank you. All right. So here we go. All right. So I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Yeah. So firstly, certain basics of cubes and dice before we jump into questions straight away. I really want to jump into questions because trust me, I've made such cubes and dice solving such simpler that you would actually want to jump onto certain questions. But it's imperative I take you through certain basics. What do you mean by a cube? Okay, a cube is nothing but a square having total how many? It's a six-sided square, right? It's a square having total of six sides. Yeah. Yeah. Totally, there are how many? Six faces. Yeah, there are six faces in a cube. All right. There are six faces in a cube. Now you have this corners, right? There are how many such corners? There are totally of 8 such corners. So 6 faces, 8 corners is what you need to remember, nothing else. Okay, now if you were to rotate this dice, how will it look if you were to rotate this dice in clockwise or in anti-clockwise, or if there is a number up, what would be the number down and stuff like that? Okay, now basically cubes or dice, let me also use the word dice matlab aapka subsidy wala dice. Okay, that dice and this dice is, at least in the terminology dice, it is same. Okay, now your subsidy wala dice is of a certain type and your general dice is of another type which gets asked in the exam. So dice are of two types. One is standard and the other is irregular. Irregular or random. It could be anything. What do I mean by that? What do you mean by standard dice? Your standard dice is the proper subsidy wala dice. Okay, by the way, dice is in the shape of a cube. Just to make your life simpler, dice is in the shape of a cube. Your standard dice is a dice of subsidy. Subsidy wala dice, if you would have observed, what is the which are the opposite faces? What are the numbers in the opposite faces? Hamesha, the total of that would always be 7. देखो कैसा, 1 के ऑपोजिट हमेशा 6 रहेगा, 2 के ऑपोजिट हमेशा 5 रहेगा and 3 के opposite हमेशा 4 रहेगा. The total of course in each of the cases is 7. That's a standard dice. That's a standard dice where the total of the opposite faces would be 7. So if you have such dice, If any question of that dice is asking the exam, you know. Now, supposing if exam में ऐसा question आता है, there's a standard dice and the face at the top is 5. Therefore, what would be the face opposite it? The answer is very simple. Since it's a standard dice, the opposite face has to be 2 because 5 plus 2 is 7. Simple. Oh yeah, that is the standard dice. Unfortunately, NTSE, right, National Talent Search Level Exams, आपको standard dice पे questions नहीं आएंगे. If you get one, 2 सेकंड के लिए नाचने का, okay, और ये याद करने का, the one which I'm telling you of the opposite faces और सही आंसर मार्क करने का. All right, what you will get in the exam is questions on irregular or random or any other dice which is not really a standard dice. All right, so it would be some another dice. So they won't say this is an irregular dice. So standard dice पे mention करेंगे this is a standard dice, else they would use it as a general dice. Okay, so that's what it is. So उसमें आपको कैसे solve करना है? Now there could be any faces. Say for example standard dice में यहाँ पे आपको dice हमेशा they will give you in this particular format. They will always give you 3 sides of a dice. In any question, you will always have 3 sides of a dice. So they will give you, say, for example, यहाँ पे 6 है, यहाँ पे 5 है, यहाँ पे 4 है. Okay, there would be another position of the same dice given. It could be anything. Okay, I'm just writing a random number out here. Okay, 6 could be here, 3 could be here, and 2 could be here. Okay, some random numbers out here, and they would be asking questions. Okay, what would be the side opposite 2, or what would be the side opposite 6, or what would be the side opposite 5, or what would be the side opposite 4 or 3, or whichever number which they want to ask. Okay, now isme imagination is very important. Now you have the two positions of dice, you have to think पहले 6 ऊपर था तो 5 उसके लेफ्ट साइड बॉटम में था. नाउ 6 को मैंने अगर फ्रंट फेसिंग कर दिया तो उसके लेफ्ट यहाँ पे 3 आ रहा है, मतलब डाइस को मैंने इस तरह घुमाया है या उस तरह घुमाया है. Complications, guys, this is pure complication. You don't have to think, imagine so much to solve this question. I am going to show you the simplest and the trickiest method to solve these kind of questions and make your life simpler. And by this, you will be able to actually solve this sums in not in 72 seconds for sure, because 70 seconds is thoda stretch hai. Sorry, not you guys would be solving it in 7.2 seconds. Trust me, it's going to be that simple. Just 7.2 seconds. So all you guys, are you guys all interested to hear the methodology to solve? Let's straight away jump into the question. I'm going to teach you the methodology in the same question. Therefore, you would be able to solve. All right. So here it is. Two positions of a dice are given as shown below. So here you have the two positions. When 4 is at the bottom, which number would be at the top? Basically, 4 का opposite face पूछा है. अगर bottom का opposite top होता है, right? So 4 का opposite face पूछा है. All right. Now there's an approach to solve this kind of questions. I'm going to show you the approach. Okay, listen to the approach very carefully. ध्यान से सुन लेना, समझ लेना और आपको आगे solve करना. All right. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to identify the common number in the two positions. Okay, here you have numbers from 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's the common number in both of the die positions? The number is 4. Yeah, the number is 4. So what you need to do is you just need to write 4. That's it. आपको सिर्फ 4 लिखना है ऊपर और आपको यहाँ पे भी 4 लिखना है नीचे. Okay, simple. All right. Now just have a look at the first position of the dice. What we need to do next is we need to move in clockwise direction. मैंने आपको पहले पढ़ाया था clockwise direction is always this way, of course, मतलब towards right. All right. So let's try to move clockwise direction. आपको clockwise direction में जाना है और clockwise direction में जो numbers आ रहे हैं in that first position note करना है. So let us move into clockwise direction. So 4, 2, 3. तो यहाँ पे मैं लिखूंगा 4 तो starting point है. Your common number is your starting point. That becomes your reference point. वहां से we move into clockwise direction. Therefore, I'm going to write 4, 2, 3. Clear? Simple. You're going to repeat the same thing in the next position. So your 4 is over here. Let's move into clockwise direction. Clockwise direction is this particular direction. Yeah, this direction. So what is the first number that you're getting clockwise? 6. उसके बाद क्या आता है? 5. So I will write 6 over here. I will write 5 over here. All right. Is this done? Okay. Then what is the next step that you will do? Nothing. Why? Sir, आपने sum solve कर दिया है. How? The answer is simple. 2 का opposite 6 है, 3 का opposite 5 है. These are your opposite faces. So भाई बचा कौन सा नंबर? 4, 2, 3, 6, 5 हो गया. बचा कौन सा नंबर? 1, which means 4 का opposite 1 है. खत्म. Solved. हो गया. The answer is option A, 1. Done. You solve the sum. क्या किया? I'm going to repeat again. We figure out the common number between the two positions. That becomes your starting point. From there, we move into clockwise direction and start jotting down numbers as they appear in the clockwise direction. You repeat the same for the second position. The numbers below and write them below the first position. The numbers below the first position are the opposite faces. Therefore, 2 ka opposite 6, 3 ka opposite 5, and 4 ka opposite 1. Now let them ask any question in the exam. When 2 is at the bottom, what number would be at the top? You have the answer 6. When 3 is at the top, what number would be at the bottom? You have the answer 5. हो गया, solved. Any question उनको जो पूछना है पूछने दो. The methodology will remain the same. All right. Let's try to solve. Oh, by the way, easy. मजा आ गया. Understood? Fun. Yeah. This is very simple. All right. So let's move on to another question of similar type. Again, two positions of dice are shown with 5 and 6 as opposite faces. तो यहाँ पे उन्होंने बोल दिया है which are the opposite faces? 5 and 6. So 6 is one and 5 is another. यहाँ पे थोड़ा careful रहना है. I will tell you why careful रहना है, क्योंकि opposite faces का direction बताया, opposite faces बताया है. What is the question? Therefore, they are asking which number will be the side opposite to 2. Okay, the side opposite to 2. So here also we follow the first step as same as the previous one. So your first number or reference point becomes 6. All right. So 6 is your first reference point. Therefore, we will write 6 out here. उसके बाद हम लोग जाएंगे क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में. हम लोग जाएंगे क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में. सो 6 के बाद क्या आएगा? 6 के बाद क्या आएगा? 2. 2 के बाद क्या आएगा? 4. All right. Now, next step, next point is very important. In the previous sum, we had the same common number. अगर आपके पास same common number है, you will move in the same direction in both the positions. All right. Here, the next number is the opposite face already given to you. Therefore, the next number is not a common number, but it's opposite face. मतलब आपका common number is in the bottom. Okay, this is your common number. Okay. Let me show you. This is your common number. Your common number is actually out here. 6 is actually out here. But आपको already घुमा के दिया है. अगर 6 ऊपर होता, you would have still proceeded in the clockwise direction. Getting it? However, what's given to you? The opposite face. If the opposite face is given to you, you will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Simple. That's the only rule which you need to remember. That's the only trickiest part of it. If the opposite face is given to you, you will move in the anti-clockwise direction. All right. Now, if you were to move in the anti-clockwise direction, what are the numbers that you have? Your starting reference number or the first number would still be 5. Anti-clockwise direction में आप number लिखेंगे 3. यहाँ पे आप number लिखेंगे 1. Now let them ask any question. Your problem is solved. What's the question? The number opposite to the side bearing 2. What's the answer? 3. Here you have option B. 3. Done. Solved. हो गया. Fun? Loved it? Let's try to solve one more question. Wow. Your 3 positions of the same dice are given. Okay, and what are they asking? When 2 is at the top, which number would be at the bottom? Okay, यहाँ पे slightly different हो जाता है. Now there is a new variation. यहाँ पे आपको 3 positions दिया है. What's the rule? You need to compare any 2 positions. दोनों में से एक common number निकालो. वो common number को reference पकड़ के clockwise direction में घुमाओ. Okay. However, the caveat to that rule is there has to be only one common number. There cannot be 2 common numbers. There cannot be 2 common numbers. There have to be only one common number. All right. So, is there any common number between 645 and 231? Nah. Is there a common number between 231 and 135? Yes, but plenty. What are the common numbers you have? You have 1 as well. You have 3 as well. 1 भी है, 3 भी है. पर मैंने आपको क्या बोला अभी? एक ही common number चाहिए. 2 common number आएंगे तो दुविधा हो जाएगी. And I want to show you why. If you have 2 common numbers, the answer will be wrong. Okay. So supposing let us take 3 as a reference. I'm showing you the wrong. Why is it wrong is what I'm showing. All right. Let us take 3 as a reference. So आप क्या लिखेंगे? 3, 2, 1 clockwise direction. Okay, clockwise direction. 3, 2, 1. यहाँ पे भी 3 is the reference. Clockwise direction would be 3, 1, 5. 3, 1, 5. Which means that 3 is opposite 3. मतलब not possible. So we always look for the missing number. If 2 is opposite 1, इसके हिसाब से, but 1 is opposite 5. Cannot be, right? अगर 2 is opposite 1, अगर मैं ये मान लूं 1 cannot be opposite 5, 1 has to be opposite 2 again. Therefore the this funda does not is not applicable for two common numbers. You have to find only one common number. All right, which means it doesn't work between this and this. Now let's do a very simple smart thing. आपको सिर्फ दो ही फिगर चाहिए to get the right answer. अगर आपको चार फिगर्स भी दिए हुए हैं, if you have been given even 4 positions of the dice, even 5 positions of the dice, it doesn't matter. What matters is you need to pick up the 2 right reference figures and solve. All right, now let's just have a look at this particular position and just have a look at this particular position. All right, do you have one common figure, one common number? Yes, fine. Do you have any one more than that? No. Apna problem solved hai. So what's the common number you have? 5. So uski hisab se let's start solving. The first number is 5. We move into clockwise direction. Therefore the next number in clockwise direction is 6 and the next is 4. Yahan pe bhi 5 is the reference. We move into clockwise direction. Therefore in the clockwise direction you start with 5. The next number in the clockwise direction is 3 and next is 1. Problem solved. बचा कौन सा नंबर इसमें से? बचा कौन सा नंबर? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 कवर हो गया. बचा 2. तो यहाँ पे आएगा 5 के ऑपोजिट 2. Now let them ask any question. यहाँ पे the question is if when 2 is at the top, which number is at the bottom? 5. खत्म. Because 2 का opposite is 5, 3 का opposite is 6 and 1 का opposite is 4. As simple as that, guys. This was a slight deviation from the usual, but if any question of this type comes in the exam now, you will be able to solve it because आपने trick समझ लिया है. Okay, it couldn't get simpler than this, guys. It wouldn't get simpler than this. All right, these are such nice now easier methods to solve, isn't it? This is fun. All right, इस type का कुछ questions आता तो it's fun to solve. Okay. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna draw certain figures for you and I'm gonna ask you a question based on that. All right, so here is the first figure. All right, this is the first position. Here we have numbers 1, 3 and 4. This is the second position. Here we have numbers as 4, 3 and 6. So this is 4, this is 3, this is 6. This is the third position. All right, here we have numbers as 5, 1 and 2. This is 5, this is 1, this is 2. All right, abhi kuch bhi questions पूछने दो. If this were the 3 positions of a dice, let them ask any question. Let's try to solve this. All right, let's try to solve this. So आप लोग कैसे solve करेंगे? I'm sure you guys have already started solving. So let us take 2 reference. Can we take this and this as reference? Can we take this and this as reference? No. This is figure 2. This is figure for position 3. Can we take 1 and 2 as reference? No, because here we have more than one common. So it won't work. Can I take 2 and 3 common? I cannot because there is no common. There is no common. Can I take 1 and 3 common? Yes, I can take 1 and 3 common because there is one common, which is the letter, which is the number 1. So I will take 1 as reference, move into clockwise direction. Therefore, you will have 1, 4, 3. यहाँ पे 1 is reference, move into clockwise direction. Therefore, you will have 1, 5, 2. Alright, अभी कुछ भी पूछने दो. Your sum is solved. आपने solve कर दिया. 1 के opposite, what will be the number by the way? 6 आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. 1 के opposite क्या आ जाएगा? अभी बचा number क्या है? 6. Alright, so your sum is solved. So what's the number opposite 3? Answer is 5. Okay, next question. What's the number opposite 4? The answer is gonna be what's the number opposite 3? The answer is 2, not 5. The answer is 2. Yep, the answer is 2. 3 ke opposite 2, as you can see from the diagram. All right, and what's the number opposite 4? The answer is gonna be 5. 4 के opposite 5, 3 के opposite 2, 1 के opposite 6. कुछ भी पूछने दो. अगर आपने ये crack कर लिया है, any sum asked, it's all bonus for you. Fun, yeah. Okay, so that was about it. All right. Now Now we move on to something else. So these were one type of questions that are asked in cubes and dice. Now what they're gonna do now, sorry, now they are gonna open up the cube. आपको cube open up करके देंगे, which means this has been put on a mat. All right, it's almost opened up on a mat, and it has been presented to you. What you are supposed to do is you are supposed to find out which are the opposite faces out here. The question says, if this mat, okay, if this mat were to be closed and formed a dice, if this mat were to be closed and form the dice, which of the following figures would be true? Which of the following figures would be true? So how do you do that? Very simple. Now there is a certain standard which is applied to all these kind of questions. All right, what's the standard applied? I'm going to tell you. So with this kind of position, you always sorry, you always number the positions. All right, so I'm going to start numbering over here. 1, I'm going to make this 2, this is 3, this is 4. There are 6 faces, right? Therefore there would be 6 faces out here, 5 and 6. Okay, now there is a standard position through which we find the opposite faces. The opposite faces is usually the nearest alternate numbers. What do you mean by that? It's very simple, which means this and this alternate numbers, isko chhod dene ka. So 1 and 3 will always be opposite. Similarly, the next low hanging alternate numbers 4 and 6 will always be opposite. Okay, why? What am I doing? Try to observe here, guys. Here what am I doing is I am marking the low hanging alternate numbers. What do you mean by low hanging? Easy to identify alternate numbers. ये शेप में easy to identify alternate numbers is 1 and 3. Similarly, ये शेप में easy to identify alternate number is 4 and 6. Yes. तो अभी बचा क्या? बचा क्या? 2 and 5. बचा 2 and 5. 2 and 5. So I'm going to mark 2 and 5. 2 and 5. Okay. What does that mean? 1 is opposite 3 in this particular diagram. 4 is going to be opposite 6 and 2 is going to be opposite 5. Okay, I hope it is clear until this point. Yeah, let me make it clearer further. All right, what is 1? A blank slide. What is 3? A blank side. What is 4? A blank side. And what is 6? A blank side. Okay, मतलब इतना clear है कि 1, 3, 4, 6 are blank sides. 2 or 5 which are supposed to be opposites. These are opposites, ना? 2 or 5 which are supposed to be opposites, मतलब what 2 पे क्या है? X. 5 पे क्या है? 0. Which means X and 0 have to be opposites. ये important है, note करना. X and 0 have to be opposites. मतलब अगर X ऊपर है तो 0 नीचे है, अगर X left में है तो 0 right में है. They are opposites. They are opposites. So can X and 0 be adjacent? No. They cannot be adjacent, right? Because they are opposites. Simple. So now with this knowledge, let us have a look at the figures from 1 to 4. All right. Now in figure 1, X and O are adjacent. मतलब ये नहीं चलेगा. In figure 2, O is over here. X is nowhere adjacent to O. मतलब this is workable. In figure 3, X is over here. O is nowhere near to X. मतलब this is workable. Figure 4 में O and X are adjacent to each other. मतलब नहीं चलेगा. Therefore, the answer is only 2 and 3, or rather 2 and 3 both. This was clearer. This was a different kind of a sum. I hope this is clear to you. मतलब now in the sums that we are gonna do, you are gonna have an open mat. उसको बंद करने में आएगा. बंद करने के बाद आपको identify करना है कौन सा right figure है. All right. There could be other ways as well. A closed dice will be given, and if that dice is opened up, you have to identify which is the correct opened up figure. Which is the correct opened up figure. All right. So let me move on to the next one. All right. Now, by the way, there has been a small correction out here, and the correction is this is 3. Even please make this correction in your notes as well while you receive the notes. And this is gonna be 5 as numbers. By the way, just to give you certain reference, this is on page number 84 of your notes. Page 84 of your notes, question number 30. Question number 30. All right. This is a sum from that particular page of your notes. Okay, and very interesting and easy sum. The methodology and the approach is simple. यहाँ पे आपको यहाँ पे आपको तीन डाइस पोजीशंस दिए हुए हैं. यू आर सपोज टू आइडेंटिफाई व्हेन इट गेट्स अनफोल्डेड विच इज द राइट फिगर. By look of it, it looks very difficult, but trust me, it's actually very simple. मैं आपको बताऊंगा कैसे. So we are gonna first solve. We are gonna first identify the opposite faces using the method that we learned at the start of the lecture. Then we are gonna identify the opposite faces using these particular diagrams. Yeah, and then we are gonna see which matches the both. Simple. That's the approach. So let's go by the first method. All right. Let's identify the common number between the first two faces. Yeah, मिल गया. What's the common number? 6. One common number 6. 2, 3, 5 अलग अलग है, 4 अलग अलग है. So 6 is your common number out here. So we start with 6. We move into clockwise direction. So what are the numbers you get? 6, 4, 2. All right. And here as well, we start with reference letter 6. We move into reference number 6. We move into clockwise direction. Therefore, what are the numbers we get? 6, 3, 5. All right. So now, but obvious है कि 4 के opposite 3 है, 2 के opposite 5 है, and 6 के opposite 6 नहीं तो बचा कौन सा letter है? 1 है. Okay. Now, coming back to the previous, so this is clear. आप लोग ने opposite faces identify कर लिया है. Okay. Now coming back to the previous approach, जैसे हम लोग ने, मैंने आपको क्या बोला था यहाँ पे, we are supposed to identify low hanging alternates. Low hanging alternates. Alternate is very important. नेक्स्ट नंबर, ये छोड़ के नेक्स्ट, ये छोड़ के नेक्स्ट. तो सिंपल फिगर में ये छोड़ के नेक्स्ट ये आएगा, यहाँ पे फिगर में ये छोड़ के नेक्स्ट ये आएगा. बचा कुचा इज द रिमेनिंग वर्ड. 2 and 5 was the बचा कुचा, and therefore all these are opposites to each other. Okay, fine. So यहाँ पे भी let's do that. यहाँ पे we already know the opposites. Now what we need to do, looking at the figure, we need to identify which are the real two opposites. Okay, which means the low hanging alternates. So if you were to look at this, 6 के opposite 1 आएगा, low hanging alternate. 6 के opposite 1 आएगा, यहाँ पे low hanging alternate. 4 के opposite 3 आएगा, low hanging alternate. 4 के opposite 3 आएगा, तो बचा क्या? 2 and 5. 2 के opposite 5 आएगा. If you were to look at the options, this is the only option, B is the only option which matches our opposite faces. Which matches our opposite faces, where we have 6 ke opposite 1, 4 ke opposite 3, and 2 ke opposite 5. Therefore, the right answer is option B. All right. Let's also have a look at the remaining options. ये option के हिसाब से 5 के opposite 1 होता, 6 के opposite 2 होता, and 3 के opposite 4 होता, which is not the case out here. Similarly, by this option, 2 के opposite 4, 3 के opposite 6, sorry, 1 के opposite 6 and 3 के opposite 5. All right. So I hope this is clearer to you. Quickly, just cut the phone. Thank you. Similarly out here as well, 6 के opposite क्या होता? 4 low hanging fruits, 3 के opposite 1, and therefore 2 के opposite 5. All right. So all of these do not match to our found opposites, and hence the option B is the right option. I hope this was very interesting mixture of two methods mixed together and presented to you in one single sum. But this was easy to solve after you know all the tricks to solve it, right? Awesome. Okay, cool. So with this different types, we move on to the third type. The third type is very, very simple. This is going to be the most simplest of methods to solve. Window. All right. Okay. So let's try to solve by this particular method. Now, what are we supposed to do over here? Okay, what is given? A cube is taken and 5 cuts are made on each of the axes. मैंने आपको last few lectures में समझाया था. How many cuts are made over here? 5 cuts. If the number of cuts are 5, how many pieces will you have? 6. One more, right? I had explained you by drawing this example. I clearly remember. This is say one string. Here we cut it. This is a cut that we make across that string. Therefore, one single cut divides the string into two parts. So if you have two cuts, it will divide the string into three parts, 1, 2, and 3. Therefore, if you have 5 cuts, it will divide a cube into how many parts? 6 parts. If a cube is into 6 parts, how many? So it's very simple. If a cube is divided into 6 parts, how many small cubes can the cube be broken into? The answer is going to be 6 cube. The answer is going to be straight away 6 cube, which is going to be 216. All right. How do we arrive at that 216? Very simple. How many sides you have? 6 sides. All right. You have 6 sides. You're going to have how many cubes? You are going to have a total of 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to have 6 cubes. You're going to have 6 cubes. You're going to have 6 sides, and you're going to have 6 faces. You're going to have 6 faces. Therefore, 6 into 6 into 6, the answer is going to be 216. All right. This is the simplest method by which you're going to solve. That is the number of small cubes that you're going to get in these kind of questions. All right. It's very simple to solve. Okay. Let's try to identify the next. Let's try to solve the next question. Now, here the question is, M is going to be, okay, here the question is, you have a large cube. Okay, here the question is, you have a very large cube into picture. Now the large cube is cut into small cuts. Okay, where M represents the number of cuts. What is M? M represents the number of cuts. All right, M is the number of cuts. What happens to that? Now these cuts are made equidistant to each other. Okay, now the large cube size, the size of the large cube is 6 centimeters. Okay, the large cube is size 6 centimeters. One face of it or one side of it is size 6 centimeters. Now, what's the question they are asking? If M is equal to 2, what is the side of small cubes? As simple as that. अगर M दो है, अगर M दो है तो कितने parts में divide करेंगे? 3 part में divide करेंगे. All right, which means the size of the small cube is nothing but 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2 centimeter. That's it. इतना ही पूछ रहे हैं. They're just checking a concept out here. Are you able to understand the number of cuts made to one single side, and therefore what would be the size of each side? Because the number of cuts are equidistant. Therefore 6 divided by 3 is 2 centimeters. As simple as that. Look at the next question. The next question is linked to the first one. What does it say? If M is equal to 3, what is the size of small cube? Okay, the large cube size is 6. If M is equal to 3, it will divide the cube into 4 parts, and therefore the answer is going to be 1.5 centimeters. That's it. Ho gaya solve. You just write 1.5 centimeters and your answer is done. You just divide 6 by 4 और कुछ भी नहीं करना है. It was as simple as that. Okay. So with this we have completed. Sorry. Yeah. So with this we have completed cubes and dice. I hope you had fun solving cubes and dice or understanding cubes and dice. I have found out and I have actually presented before you the shortest and the smallest and the trickiest methods through which you can solve 3 different varieties of sums of cubes and dice. Okay. Now with this knowledge, let's move on to the next chapter, which is clocks and calendars. All right. Clocks and calendars, we have saw something interesting in clocks and calendars. On the face of it, even clocks and calendars does look a bit tricky. However, don't worry, I'm here to make your life a bit simpler. Okay. Now, what are we going to do in clocks and calendars? I'm going to just present my screen. And before I present, okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Okay. The first question that I'm going to ask you across is, पहले हम लोग calendars करेंगे और उसके बाद हम लोग clock करेंगे. All right. Sorry, just a minute. Just give me a moment while I just silent the phone. Can you please keep the phone on silent, please? Keep the phone out here, but please keep it on silent. Thank you. Apologies for that. All right. So first simple question. What's the total 365 days? ना सर, बचपन में पढ़ा था, वापस क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं? अच्छा, if it is 365 days, then why is every 4th year a 366 days? Why do we have 366 days in every 4th year? Why is that so? Interesting, right? So therefore, the answer is the total revolution time taken by Earth is not 365 days, but it's more. It is of course 365 days, but what's the additional part of it? There is additional 5 hours more to 365 days. There's an additional of 48 minutes more to 365 days. There is an additional of 46 seconds more to 365 days. All right. Therefore, the total revolution time taken by Earth to revolve around the Sun is 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. What does that mean? You have an additional 5 hours, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. Let us try to round this off to 6 hours. Let us try to round this off to 6 hours. Okay? एक दिन में 24 घंटे होते हैं, करेक्ट? एक दिन में 24 घंटे होते हैं, मतलब 4 दिन एडिशनल हो गए, 4 दिन एडिशनल हो गए to come to 24. All right, and therefore what do we do? And therefore that's the reason why every 4th year is a leap year. That's the reason why there are 366 days in every 4th year. By the way, hold on guys, leap year, as I said, is in every 4th year. We also have 45 minutes excess every 4 years, right? आपको अब मैंने तो यहाँ पे राउंड ऑफ किया है, राउंड ऑफ करने के बाद बिकॉज 12 minutes total of round off kiya, and therefore every 4 years you're going to have a 45-minute excess. How do we account for that excess? We account for that excess by in the centenary years. We account for that excess in the centenary years, which means every 100th year we do not consider that as a leap year. All right, ये extra हो गया ना, उतना हम लोग ने सारा leap year में consider किया था. Therefore, to balance it out, what do we do is every 100th year we do not consider that as a leap year. मतलब the years like 1800, years like 1700, years like 2100, all these years are not a leap year. All these years are not a leap year. However, centenary years divisible by 400, centenary years divisible by 400 are leap years. What does that mean? Year 1600, year 2000, year 2400, all these years are gonna be leap years, However, 1800, 1700, 2100, even though these numbers are divisible by 4, these are not leap years, because the rule says every 100th year or centenary years are not a leap year. Okay, why have we done that? To balance those additional 45 minutes which we had in calculation. So this is the most precise calculation which scientists have done, and therefore in your calendars these years will not be leap years and those years will be leap years. So in general, you know for the fact that any year divisible by 4 is going to be a leap year. All right, just for simpler calculation purposes. Now you know that your general year contains 52 weeks and one single day. Your leap year would contain 52 weeks plus two additional days, I think so. This is something which you already know. Therefore, if I say your 2001, say 7th Jan 2001 was a Sunday, 7th Jan 2002 will be one day additional, and therefore 7th Jan 2002 will be a Monday. So I hope all of this basics is very clear to you. Okay, by this point in time, this was something interesting which probably you might not be aware of, but I hope now you are aware of it. Okay, so with this knowledge, let us move ahead. Now I'm going to teach you something else. Now this is the best part of the entire math session that I could say, and I want your undivided attention for the next few minutes. I'm going to actually teach you magic. This is like, guys, this is like literal magic. What's it written at the top? How to find any date of any day of any given date. कोई भी डेट आप बता दो, I can tell you what day it was or what day it will be. You tell me any date. Say, for example, 20th February 1987, just giving you some random number. All right. Which day was it on 20th February 1987? If this question were to come in the exam, I can tell you by few calculations within a minute or within few minutes which day was that. Interesting. Sir, the best method to do it is ask Google. Google को पूछ लो, Google बता देगा. But trust me, you are obviously, don't trust me for that. You're not going to use Google in the exam, right? Exam, you have to do it by yourself. So there is a nice, interesting method for that. I'm going to take you through the method first. Then we will solve few sums basis that method. I'm sure this is going to be very, very easy and interesting for you. Initially, the method might look complicated, but trust me, I'm going to make your life simpler. This is going to be very, very simple. Okay, so let's move ahead without wasting any time. What's the first thing that the method says? Take last two digits of the year. अभी for example 1987 था तो उसका last two digits मैं लूंगा. Okay, what date did I mention? 20 Feb 1987. Okay, I'm going to take the last two digits of the year. So I will take 87. Next, divide by 4 and drop the remainder. Divide by 4 and drop the remainder. तो इसको 4 से divide किया तो quotient क्या आता है? Irrespective of the remainder, what will be the quotient? 21. Yeah, क्योंकि 21 4s are 84, 22 4s are 88, 21 4s are 84. Add the day of the month to the quotient. Add the day of the month to the quotient. What's the day of the month? 20. All right, so I will be adding 21 plus 20 to the quotient. Next, add the month's key value. ये key value क्या है? I will tell you within a period of time. And if it is a leap year and if you have date like Jan and Feb, एक subtract करना है. Forget about it. Next is add the centenary code. Add the centenary code. Add the month's key value. Add the centenary code. ये क्या करना है मैं आपको बताता हूँ. Add last two digits of the year to this value. मतलब इसमें आप add करेंगे months key value which is over here. इसमें आप add करेंगे centenary code which is over here. All right. Over to this you will add what? The last two digits of the year. Last two digits of the year क्या है? 87. I hope this is clear to you until this point in time. Last two digits of the year. Next, you need to divide all of this. You need to divide all of this by 7. You need to divide all of this by 7. So obviously you will be getting certain remainder. What those remainders can be? Either the remainder can be 1, 2, similarly until 6, or if it is completely divisible, the remainder will be 0. Okay. Now if your remainder is 1, by standard method, if your remainder is 1, that day is always and always going to be a Sunday. If your remainder is 2, the day will be a Monday, 3 would be a Tuesday, and so on and so forth until Friday when you get remainder as 6. And therefore, when your remainder cannot be 7, you're dividing by 7, right? Therefore, your least remainder is going to be 0. If your remainder is 0, the day is going to be a Saturday. That's it. Ho gaya. By following this method, you can find out any day on of any given date. All right. Now, what remains is the two key things, which is your month's key value and your centenary code. Let's try to look at those. Wow, here it is. What I have noted down for you, or what you can see on the screen right now, are the different month key values and are the different centenary codes. All right. So these are the months given. So they have got 12 months starting from Jan to December. These are the months. Against that, you have different codes mentioned. Okay. Now, against that, what are the different codes that you have? 144025036 Similarly, below you have centenary codes. 1700, 1800, 1900, 2000. Uska against you have different codes. What the house, sir? क्या हमें ये codes remember करना है? Yes, you have to remember these codes. Very simple way to remember these codes. Just observe the codes once. Isn't this 12 square? Isn't this 5 square? Isn't this 3 square? And this is 146, which is 12 square plus 2. Okay, so 144,025,036 and 146. You probably read it thrice or 4 times. The code fits into your brain. You have to revise it probably even if you revise this code 3 days before the exam and then you repeat it daily, आपको ये code याद हो जाएंगे. All right. Now year, similarly you have centenary codes 4206. अगर year 1700 है तो 4, 1800 है तो 290. मतलब अभी हमारा है 1987. 1987 के लिए it will fall under 1900. Okay, तो 1900 का कोड क्या है? 0. what month you had? Month is Feb. So Feb का कोड क्या है? 4. So over here I'm gonna write 4. Over here I'm gonna write 0. Okay, centenary code is 0. Now let's try to add all of this. So 21 plus 20 is 41. 41 plus 4 is 45. 45 plus 87. 87 here, 45 here, 7 plus 5, 12 plus 1, or 1, 8 plus 1, 9 plus 4, 13. So I'm going to divide 132 by 7. 7 ones are minus 7. You have 62, which means this would be again 7 8s are 56. So you have a remainder of 6. If the remainder is 6, your 20th Feb 1987 is gonna be a Friday. 20th Feb 1987. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask Google. I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, I'm gonna ask Google right in front of you as a proof. Okay, so I hope you all can see my screen. All right, so I'm gonna ask Google. What day was it on 20th February 1987?
The 20th of February 1987 fell on a Friday.
Wow, awesome, magic. मजा आ गया. See, Google ने आपको आंसर बताया. We solved it using our method, which I just showed you right now. I actually took a random date. We solved it right. It fell on a Friday, and here it is. Friday, magic, isn't it? This is amazing. मजा आ रहा है. Let's try to solve few sums which you have actually asked in the exams. Let's try to solve those and prove to the world that sir मैं कुछ भी डेट निकाल सकता हूँ. What you can do as an exercise for yourself is you can find out the day on which you were born. I'm assuming you know. If you do not know, find out by this method. Ask your parents, validate through them. Were you actually born on that day? Even if they do not know, you have the best thing in front of you, which is nothing but Google. Yeah, you have Google in front of you. All right, awesome. Okay, let's try to solve few sums. Basis this was fun. This is interesting. I hope you guys liked it. So let me share my screen and we move on to further sums. This is fun, isn't it? What I would really urge you to do is probably write all of this in your notebook somewhere. Keep my photo on other side. All right, and write all of this in a notebook somewhere and probably even take a snapshot of this. Okay, even take a snapshot of all of this so that this becomes once and for all fitted. Take a snapshot and write it in your notebook because it's something which you can remember for lifetime. All right, and no one else teaches you this. No one else, trust me, no one else. Okay, so let's move on to sums. Okay, what's the first question they have asked? What was the day on 10th May 1857? Let's try to follow the method. 10th May 1857. So I'm gonna write over here 10th May 1857 for reference. 10th May 1857. All right, let's solve it. Take last two digits of the year. My last two digits क्या है? 57. Okay, उसको divide by 4 करो तो कितना आएगा? 14. Okay, add, drop the remainder. भूल गए. Add the day of the month. ये कौन सा है? May का कौन सा है? Jan, Feb, March, April, May. May का 2 है तो 14 पे आप 2 add करेंगे यहाँ पे. Sorry, add the day of the month. Your day of the month is 10. My bad. The day of the month is 10. So 14 पे आप 10 add करेंगे. Add the months की value. Months की value is 2. 1857 मतलब it falls under this. Therefore, add the centenary code which is 2. Add last two digits of the year. Last two digits of the year 57. ये सारा चीज ऐड करो. 14 plus 10, 24 plus 2, 26 plus 2, 30. 30 plus 57. Am I doing it right? Yeah. 14 plus 10, 24. 24 plus 2, 26. 26 at the centenary code plus 2, 28. So 26 plus 2, 28. Sorry, 28 plus 57 करो. 28 plus 57 करेंगे कितना आएगा? 85. Divide 85 by 7. Divide 85 by 7. क्या आता है? What's the remainder that you get? 7 14s are 84. 7 14s are 84. You have got remainder 1. If the remainder is 1, what is that day? Sunday. What is that day? Sunday, isn't it? Okay, let's try to solve this. Let's try to solve if this answer is right. Okay, so what day was it, guys? 20th May 1857. I'm going to ask Google right in front of you. What day was it on 20th May 1857?
It is Wednesday, the 20th of May, 1857.
Sorry, did we solve? Sorry, it was 10th of May, my bad. The 10th of May. Okay, what day was it on 10th of May 1857?
It is Sunday, the 10th of May, 1857.
Awesome, guys, got it right. Rocking. Yeah, cool. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, so I hope this is clearer. So here we have Sunday as the answer. Similarly, I want you to practice this particular sum at home. What was the day on 26 January 1945? This is an out and out homework. I really want you to solve this sum at home by the same method which I taught you, and here you will have the answer at your desk. All right, answer on your platter rather. It's just about practice, guys. The more you practice, this method becomes such simple, it almost becomes mechanical. Last two digits, उसको डिवाइड मतलब 45 लिया, उसको डिवाइड बाय 4 किया मतलब 11 आया. उसके बाद add 26 to it, then add the code, to it. January का code is 1, right? 144. Okay, centenary code 1900 का तो 0 था. Okay, then इसका and इसका then last में आप वापस 45 ऐड करना है. Okay, so basically आपने टोटल ऐड करा तो क्या आया है? So 90 plus 26, 11 plus 1, 12, 12 plus 26 is 38. No, 90 plus 38, 128 आएगा. उसको आप divide by 7 करेंगे, and similarly you will solve it further. I'm not gonna solve it. I've almost solved it, but I'm sure that you guys would be able to solve this. This is how simple and easy it is. Okay, so this is a classic sum given to you for homework. I'm sure you're gonna love this. Okay, now next one. Okay, what it says, I was born on August 11. Mohan is younger to me by 11 days. That's it. First, try to understand this. If I was born on August 11 and Mohan is younger to me by 11 days, मतलब मोहन मेरे बाद हो गया, मतलब आई एम एल्डर टू 11, मतलब मैं मोहन के पहले आया, मतलब मोहन मेरे बाद आया, बिकॉज मोहन इज यंगर टू मी. मोहन मेरे से यंग है, मतलब मोहन मेरे बाद आया, therefore he is younger, which means Mohan was born Mohan is younger to me by how many days? Here it is. Mohan is younger to me by 11 days. Matlab, I will add 11 to this, which means Mohan is actually born on August 22. Isn't it? Mohan is actually born on August 22. Now, what does it say? The Independence Day falls on a Monday. When is the Independence Day? You guys know it. 15th August. If 15th August is a Monday, when would be Mohan's birthday? On which day would be Mohan's birthday? Very simple, guys. 15th August is a Monday. You need to add 7 days. Correct? 7th day will also be a Monday because a week has 7 days. Therefore, 15th August, if it is a Monday, your 22nd August, which is Mohan's birthday, will also fall on a Monday. Simple. Solved. Ho gaya. I hope this was clearer. Because if you were to note down the numbers of a calendar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is nothing but Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this is Saturday, this gets repeated, isn't it? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. What does this mean? All your 2s, 9s, 16s, 23, 30 will fall on a Monday. All your 1s, 8s, 15, 22, 29 will fall on the same day. Basically, it's not really Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What I'm trying to align is all of these will fall on same day. Whichever day as reference is that for that particular sum. All right. So when I say 7, 14, 21, 28, all of these will fall on the same day. All right. And therefore, if 15 is Monday as reference, 15 and 22 come on same band. Therefore, your 22 August or 22nd August is also a Monday. Okay. I hope this is clearer. Okay. All right. Moving on. Moving on to the next sum. All right, so this is the next sum. What the sum says? If Rima celebrated her birthday on a Sunday in 2001, when will she celebrate on Sunday for the first time if her birthday falls on 18th August? Doesn't matter whenever her birthday falls on. All right, what matters is 2001 में 2001 में रीमा's birthday fell on a Sunday. Question क्या पूछा है? वापस कौन से ईयर में उसका बर्थडे संडे को आएगा? All right. So if 2001 was a Sunday, this is Sunday. 2002 will be a Monday. 2003 will be a Tuesday. Okay. 2004 leap year. Therefore, it will be a Wednesday, but it would rather be one more year, one more days. What you're going to add? Therefore, 2004 is a Thursday. Your 5 is a Friday. Your 6 is a Saturday. And 2007 is going to be Sunday again. Therefore, the answer is option B, 2007. As simple as that. Okay, you couldn't get more simpler sums than these in the exam. I hope this was clearer to you. Okay, the next sum. Next sum, just mark it straight away. The logic behind the next sum is, or rather a fact for the next sum is, a century always ends on, please write it somewhere, a century will always end on okay, either a Friday or a Wednesday or a Monday. Yeah, either a Friday or a Wednesday or a Monday. These are the days when a century will end on. Okay, if these are the days when a century will end on, a next century can never start on a Monday. Isn't it? Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry, I'm just going to erase this. Okay, what I mean to say is these are the days on which a century will also end on. So you also have Sunday out here. So these are the 4 days in which a century will always end upon. These are proven facts. You can probably use it anywhere, but just for your remembering purpose, these are the days on which a century will always end upon. If a century will always end upon these days, a century will never start on a Friday. Just note it in your heads and just remember this. अगर आपको एग्जाम में ये क्वेश्चन आता है, all you need to do is directly write that a century will never start on a Friday. Okay, this is something important. It's more like facts. It's just like one of the facts, sun rises in the east. Okay, this is a fact, right? Similarly, this is a fact that a century can never start on a Friday. ये हमेशा याद रखना. All right. I'm quickly moving on to the next question. What is the next question? Very simple. How many days are there in X weeks and X days? Okay, how many days first would be there in X weeks? Very simple. If number of weeks are X, number of days would be 7X, because a week contains 7 days, a week contains 7 days, therefore 7X days. Now, what is the additional thing? Here you have X days. So what you're going to do, you're going to add more X to it. Therefore, the answer is going to be 8X days. Simple. Isn't it? So it's going to be X weeks, matlab 7 into X will give you the total number of days. Here you already have X days to it. So 7X पे आप X add करेंगे तो आपको मिलेगा 8X. Therefore, the answer is 8X days. These were some different tricky questions asked in the exam. Okay. Now, before I move on to this question, okay, now this was about all calendars. Now we move on to clocks. All right. Now, what is the question that is asked in front of you? What is the larger angle between minute and hour hand at 4:40? सर कैसे करना है? 4:40 में पहले क्लॉक ड्रॉ करूंगा. आपने क्लॉक ड्रॉ कर दिया. Okay, your 4 o'clock is probably over here. This is where your hour hand is. This is where your hour hand is. 40 is probably out here. This is where your minute hand is. Okay, ये दोनों के बीच में एंगल निकालना है. क्या पूछा है ऊपर से? लार्जर एंगल. What do you mean by larger angle? Larger angle is, this is a smaller angle which I have marked right now in front of you. The larger angle is the exactly opposite to that. So this is your larger angle. This is your larger angle and this is your smaller angle. So कैसे निकालेंगे? कैसे करना है? Let me look at the options first. Options 100, 140, 180, 260. हाँ सर, ऑप्शन से समझ में आ जाता है that the answer is gonna be 260. How? सर देखो ना सर, ये जो एंगल है ये छोटा एंगल है, बड़ा लार्जर एंगल पूछा है सर. लार्जर एंगल अगर मैं सिर्फ डायग्राम भी बनाता हूँ, the larger angle is gonna be obviously more than 180 degrees because ये आपका 180 degrees हो जाता. Correct? This to this would have been 180 degrees, and therefore this is something additional. So I only have one option which is more than 180 degrees. Therefore I have solved it. The answer is option D, 260 degrees. हो गया. और कुछ नहीं करना है मेरे को. Okay. However, guys, hold on. This is applicable only for this kind of a sum where you can solve it by this method. However, there is a general method to solve these kind of sums. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take you through the general method to solve. Okay. Now for this, I'm gonna ask you certain questions. Okay. The first question that I'm gonna ask is, how many degrees an hour hand can cover in 1 hour? Okay, in 1 hour. Okay. By the way, this is your hour hand, छोटू वाला. hour hand moves from 1 to 2 in 1 hour, 2 to 3 in another hour, 3 to 4 similarly. Okay, so what's the total time taken by an hour hand? What's the total time taken by hour hand to cover 12 hours? Sorry, to cover 360 degrees. 360 degrees total cover करने को the hour hand takes 12 hours, right? Therefore, to cover 1 hour, an hour hand will take 360 divided by 12, 30 degrees. Is this clear? Therefore, an hour hand will cover 30 degrees in 1 hour. What does 1 hour mean? 60 minutes. मतलब 60 minutes cover करने के लिए अगर hour hand को 30 degrees जाता है, how many degrees an hour hand would cover in 1 minute? Simple. This is gonna be 30 by 60, which is gonna be half. Therefore, an hour hand covers half degree in 1 minute. Please remember all of these, guys. Please remember all of these. आप एग्जाम में कैलकुलेट करते नहीं बैठ सकते. You have to remember this. And hour hand covers 30 degrees in 1 hour, and hour hand covers 0.5 degrees or half degrees in 1 minute. Similarly, a minute hand will cover 360 degrees in 1 hour. 1 hour में 360 degrees cover करेगा, and a minute hand would cover 6 degrees in 1 minute because we will divide 360 by 60. तो आपको क्या मिलेगा? 36 by 6, which is nothing but 6. Therefore, a minute hand will cover 6 degrees in 1 minute. I hope this is clear to you until now. Okay. Now with this knowledge, let's try to solve the previous sum itself. क्या पूछा है? 440. तो पहले let's always take the reference point as 12. Your vertical is always going to be your reference point. तो reference point से आपको 4 o'clock तक, first we will solve for hour hand. 4 o'clock. Okay, मतलब 4 hours move किया. Each hour we previously found out was 30 degrees. Therefore, in 4 hours it will cover 120 degrees. However, it has also covered an additional 40 minutes, right? I told previously it covers half degree in 1 minute. Therefore, 40 minutes it will cover 40 ka half, matlab 20 degrees, which means a total of 140 degrees gets covered from this position to this position for the hour hand. Is this clear? Because it's not exactly at 4, but it is also 40 minutes past 4. Okay, and therefore the answer is 140 degrees for hour hand. Now let us try to understand the minute hand from this particular reference. Minute hand कौन से position पे है? 40 मतलब 8 पे है. 40 is at 8. Alright, कितना minutes cover किया है minute hand ने? 40 minutes. 1 minute में 6 degrees. Therefore 40 minutes में कितना degrees? 240 degrees. So your minute hand has covered a total of 240 degrees. So मतलब if I were to use a different colored ink and show you, this is what I mean. Your minute hand has covered a total of 240 degrees. Your hour hand had covered a total of 100 degrees. Okay, therefore, what's the difference between the two? 240 minus 100, you get it at, sorry, your hour had covered 140 degrees. Your hour had covered 140 degrees. Therefore, 240 minus 100, you have this difference. This difference, which you can see, is gonna be 100 degrees. I hope this is clearer to you. By the way, this difference is called as a smaller angle. ये जो छोटा difference है between the two, this is called as smaller angle and this is called as larger angle. Okay, अगर आपको question पूछते कि what is the smaller angle, so you couldn't have gone by the options. You would have to actually calculate this. Okay, therefore the smaller angle is gonna be 100 degrees. How do you get the larger angle? उसको आप 360 से subtract करो, because your whole is 360 degrees, right? Your whole is 360 degrees. Therefore 360 degrees minus your smaller angle will give you the larger angle. Larger angle will be always more than 180, smaller angle always less than 180. Therefore the answer is option D, 260 degrees. Yes, I hope this is fundamentally very clear to you. Okay, with this I want to give you this sum as homework. This is something which you need to do on your own. This is something which you need to do on your own, because here you need to find the smaller angle between minute and hour hand at 11:52. Please try to solve a bit smartly. Why I'm saying so is because when you were to draw the clock, your 11 is exactly over here, which means your hour hand is over here and your minute hand is over here. So दोनों के बीच का आपको difference in degrees निकालेंगे, आपको आंसर मिल जाएगा. Okay, please try to solve it by this method. You will be able to crack it. Okay, now let's try to solve the next sum very quickly. I'm just going to take 5 more minutes. What's the next sum? There are two clocks which are set right at 6 p.m. Okay, 6 p.m. मतलब clock का कैसे होता है? This is how your hour hand would be, and this is how your minute. Okay, I'm gonna draw here. Your hour hand would be over here, and your minute hand, which is at the larger point, would be over here. All right, yeah, this is how 6 o'clock looks like. What's the question they are saying? Your first clock gains 10 minutes per hour and the second clock loses 10 minutes per hour. Then after how much time will both show the same time? Matlab, here is a reference given to you, 6 o'clock. पूछ क्या रहे हैं? If this were to be the case, पहला clock gains 10 minutes, the second clock loses 10 minutes per hour. After how many hours, or after how many hours, as you can see the options are in hours, after how many hours will you have the same position again? Will you have the same position again? Matlab, your hour hand and your minute hand would once again be pointing this way. After how many hours? How to solve this? Very simple. What would be the situation after 1 hour? What would be the situation after 1 hour? What would be the time gap between the two? एक 10 minutes तेज जा रहा है, एक 10 minutes slow जा रहा है. Therefore, after 1 hour, the time difference between the two would be 20 minutes. Do you agree? Yes. Okay. Therefore, in 3 hours, what would be the time difference between the two? 1 hour, isn't it? 3 hours में the time difference is 1 hour. How long will they take? मतलब 12. How long will they take to come back to the same position? Basically, nothing but 12 hours. Yeah. In 12 hours, ideally, if they were to proceed at the same time, in 12 hours, the clocks of the hand would be in the same position. Therefore, to cover 12 hours, how many hours are needed? 12 threes are 36, because the ratio is 1 hour with 3 hours. Therefore, 12 hours with 36 hours. Therefore, the answer is option B, 36 hours. As simple as that. All right, that was about it. Okay. Next, these are few facts. Please note down these facts very carefully and please mark the answer straight away. Okay, what's the first fact that I want to ask? The first fact that I want to ask is, how many times do the hands of a clock coincide in a day? The answer is gonna be 22 times. 22 times will the hands of a clock coincide in a day. There's a logic to it. The hands of a clock take 65 minutes to overlap. Okay, take 65 minutes to overlap, 65 minutes to overlap, which means you will be having 11 such occasions in 12 hours. Therefore, total of 22 such occasions in 24 hours. Okay, therefore the answer is option C, 22 times. Next, how many times a day the hands of a clock are straight? The answer is simple, 44 times the hands of a clock are straight. By straight, you mean 6 o'clock, you mean 1, in every position. Okay, in every position you want to find and how many times the hands of the clocks are in straight or 180 degrees. The answer is going to be 22 times. It happens in 12 hours. Therefore, it will happen a total of 44 times. I hope I've covered all the varieties that I could have for both clocks as well as calendars, even for cubes and dice. I hope you guys enjoyed this different kind of a lecture that we had today. This was new piece of information which you had, which was never exposed to you ever before. Especially finding the day when any given date is given is something mind-blowing, right? You can apply it in your daily lives and remember this method forever, not just for your NTSE exams, but you can even challenge your friends and anyone to find the day and date. All right, to find the day when any given date is given. All right, fun. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lecture. That was it from my end. And apologies for the continuous disturbance which is going on outside, which is beyond my control. Trust me, it's beyond my control. Okay, so that's it from my end. Over to you, Ashwin sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. We'll wind up the session.
Thank you so much. Bye bye, guys. Take care.